Beloved, if you've been doing mindset work, healing work, energy work, and yet you're still feeling emotionally dysregulated, confused and uncomfortable, and in a survival mode, I want you to know that all those retreats and ceremonies and activations, they haven't gone to waste. But your soul, it is asking for a deeper sense of initiation through embodiment. And this is your missing key. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you exactly how you are going to start to embody and integrate everything that has been gifted to you so far, and so that you can start to feel the stability of your emotions, start to ground in your energy and your life force, and feel more centered in the truth of who you are. Now I want to bring you something here, a visualization. So if you're a visual person, you can just close down your eyes or just listen to what I have to say and get a feel and a sense for what that might be for you. If there was a tree, you can even imagine that you are a tree right now, and you love the sun, the bright light, so your focus has been growing your branches, and you're growing up, higher and higher to reach that sun. But you forgot all about your roots. You were so focused on going up to the sun that you forgot all about the roots, and now you've toppled down, you've fallen to the ground. Well, that is what's going to happen if you keep trying to raise your consciousness and your energy without rooting into your body and into this earth. Because as human beings, there is a mechanism which we can even look at the tree of life. If you've ever seen this symbolism, it is the key to unlocking what is actually going on in humans, because we are very similar really to trees in a way, in the fact that we are a toroidal field. So the energy comes up, around and down, and it comes up through the earth, up through our central channel, and up and out and around. Okay? And this is like the tree. When they grow their roots deep, deep, deep into the earth, they're simultaneously able to grow up taller and taller and taller. And they will stay, and they'll be very stable in their center, in their trunk. So if you imagine your body, and you have an energy field through your body, and that is your trunk and your life force. So we must work through both ends of our energy to stabilize the frequency, to embody and to embrace, fully embrace and live from our soul and our vibrant life force energy. Otherwise we're just depleting it and letting it go up and out, and it just goes, and then we're not really fully getting to experience it and get and reap all the rewards from it. Okay, so a nice strong tree also grows lots of healthy fruits, branches, nuts, whatever's growing on it. Okay, so that's what we want for ourselves. So I want to explain to you today exactly how you're going to be able to do that, and to fully feel the embrace of your toroidal field. And in order to do that, you may have to accept some things. If you're someone that has always been very sensitive to energy, and you love light language and energy healing and activations, I want you to realize that maybe you have to listen to your body a little bit more if you're feeling a bit frazzled. Okay, your nervous system is always listening and feeling and sensing through the soul. Okay, your soul is interpreting what is going on through how your nervous system is reacting and responding. So while you may feel that you want to keep having energy activations, or you want to keep going to medicine ceremonies, like plant medicine ceremonies, but you're actually feeling a little bit burnt out, you're feeling a little bit frazzled, a bit over the place, things are a bit scattered, maybe it becomes a bit chaos, and lots of chaotic things start happening in your life, lots of breakdowns. Sometimes people think and see that because they're used to that in their lives from childhood, and their spirituality starts to mirror that, where they think that chaos represents initiation and change, and it's a good thing. hardship is a good thing, means that you're reaching for success, right? That's a program that some people play. So we want to deprogram ourselves from that belief system around our spirituality so that we become more harmonious. Okay, and the more harmonious that we become and in alignment with this truth of our toroidal field, our nature to be grounded into the earth and to be able to experience higher states of consciousness in one physical form through this central channel, we are then enabling ourselves to encode that wisdom and live from that wisdom. Not just a fleeting moment, not just things that happen here and there, but actually embodying that and living that. And that doesn't mean that then we abandon, okay, all of the normal mundane things of life. We learn how to give that energy into everything that we do. Because that's another thing that I used to remember experiencing a lot. I used to think, oh, now I can't be in those same social dynamics. I wasn't able to meet people with that energy because I felt like I had to lower my energy to be around those people, because those people, you know, it's already listened to the words that are being said, right? To those people who hadn't come into that awareness of who they truly are, okay? They hadn't quite decided to go down a spiritual path. They were still maybe experiencing drinking alcohol and, you know, living those very standard westernized world lifestyles, you know, and I was starting to feel repelled from that. And so therefore I felt like I couldn't be around those people because of my vibration and how that would affect me. But what if we were able to flip that? What if we was be able to be so stable and centered in who we truly are? We can be around anyone or do anything and it still stays the same. Because our sensitivity shouldn't mean that we have to hide. It shouldn't mean that we have to retreat from others. It means that we actually need to be able to stand so fiercely in our truth and our hearts and who we truly are and give that gift to other people through our embodiment. We don't need to change for them. The part of us that feels that we need to change is a part of us that believes that we're not totally who we are embodying, our soul essence. That believes that it needs to belong, so it needs to start mimicking and copying everything else around it. But when we are truly embodied in ourselves, we don't need to keep morphing. We're not morphing when we're going up to higher states of consciousness, into higher states of consciousness. We're not morphing into the earth when we go into the earth. We're not morphing into different kind of human collectives and cultures. When we are centered in ourselves, we are able to present the truth of who we are. So that higher states of consciousness is the essence of who we are, but we are living it. The same with the earth. It's a self-expression. We allow that energy to come through us. That soul expression is then able to just be in all circumstances, okay? And the way that we're going to do this, okay, is through things that people dismiss these days. It's very simple. Mindfulness, really observing yourself, your sense of how you're experiencing each and everything. Can you stay mindful? Can you start to clear all of the programmings of what you're receiving through social media, even in the spiritual communities? Because what we tend to do when we start to wake up, and we start to go into spirituality, is we want to seek community, we want to seek connection with other people who are doing the same thing. But yet what happens is we then start to absorb, and we become absorbing all this information. We start to be watching all the energy updates, the tarot reading, the what's going on in the solar flares, the Schumann resonance, all these things. So we start to take on all this belief system of what's really happening. And again, it's actually taking us secretly out of center of the soul knowing and the soul truth. And that's where we get things like symptoms, right? These ascension symptoms. And it's actually really the nervous system is getting a little bit overloaded through all these energy activations that we are getting left, right and center. All this information. I call it spiritual news. You know, people detach from the news on the TV and then they go to listen to all the other people talking about these energy updates and what's going on in the planet through their intuitive channel. And again, I can see where there are some benefits to it, but I can also see where most of the time people are getting overloaded, right, with information. So you may as well be watching the news, you know, the regular news, if you're going to watch the news from a spiritual channel, because it's still going to give you this sort of unstable sense of self, because you're questioning, you know, your reality through the lens of someone else. And that's where we come back in to the center of who we are to read that information. The more we start to come in and listen, to center ourselves, to be honest with what's true for us, we start to regulate that nervous system. We start to listen more deeply to the soul, and that calms the nervous system, because the soul is going to guide you. It's going to go, it's okay, you're safe. That's not true for you. You don't have to take on that truth. Yeah, you're not going to get headaches today because that's not your truth. Right? If you've ever watched some spiritual teachers sort of say, oh, there's lots of headaches because of solar flares, you're all going to get headaches. But you know, there are lots of practices that we can do, like the microcosmic orbit breathing, which is a Taoist practice. And you can look that up. I think I might have a microcosmic orbit breathing meditation. Well, there's plenty others on YouTube. And just really being present with yourself. Allow yourself to declutter your energy field. And of course, being in nature. If you can be in nature, if you think you're spending time in nature, spend even more time in nature. And spend time with trees, rocks, listen to them. Yeah, they have the codes of regulation, of attunement to who we truly are, right? They really help us to navigate how to be a vibrational spiritual being in this physical form, because that's what they're doing every day, and they live it. They're completely attuned to spirit. They're not attached to the human consciousness that has lots of different entanglements of collective consciousnesses and narratives and projections and thought forms and desires and choices for humanity. No. Tune into the trees and they will help to rebalance you from all of that mess, right? And another thing that I do have is our Voice of the Heart guided audio meditation journey. So it's actually a somatic journey that does give you the opportunity to tune into the heart. It's a practice that I like to do, that if I feel like I'm in two minds about something, if there's feels like a split in parts of who's really taking over the show here in an experience that I'm having, I do this practice and it helps me to really listen into the heart's voice. And that starts to see maybe those more smaller selves that have been buried under there, that are maybe causing a little bit of disharmony and regulation in my life, and I get to figure them out. And I do that, and I do this practice even in my mentorships, and everybody loves it. I find it a very profound practice, so I wanted to offer that to you there. And otherwise, I'll see you in the next video, and I really hope that you've enjoyed this conversation.